Hello everyone, this is the history tutorial video for class 10. We were doing nationalism in Indochina, in Vietnam. We have seen how the Vietnamese people have put up stiff resistance against the French colonization, whether it's in educational institutions or uh, in the question of modernity, health and hygiene, or in the religious sphere. Now, in order to be modern, was it necessary to regard tradition as backward and reject all the earlier ideas and social practices? Was it necessary to consider the West as a symbol of development and civilization and try to copy the West? Different answers were offered to such questions. Some intellectuals felt that Vietnamese traditions had to be strengthened to resist the domination of the West, while others felt that Vietnam had to learn from the West even while opposing foreign domination. This differing visions led to complex debates which could not be resolved. In the late 19th century, resistance to French domination was very often led by Confucian scholars who saw their world crumbling because Confucian scholars were religious teachers and religion, Vietnamese customs, Vietnamese traditions and practices were being termed as backward and being cast aside by the French government. So the Confucian scholars they rose up in rebellion. Educated in Confucian tradition, Fan Boi Chao was one such nationalist. So Fan Boi Chao became a major figure in the anti-colonial resistance from time he formed the Revolutionary Society in 1903. Revolutionary Society was the English name. The Vietnamese name is Dui Tan Hoi. Dui Tan Hoi or the Revolutionary Society. In 1903 it was formed by Phan Boi Chau and he nominated Prince Quong De as the head of this organization, the head of the Revolutionary Society. Prince Quong De, not Shumon De, Quong De. Phan Boi Chau met the Chinese reformer Liang Qichao. Liang Qichao and Phan Boi Chau they met in Yokohama in Japan in 1905. Phan's most influential book, The History of the Loss of Vietnam. It was written under the strong influence and advice of Liang Qichao. Liang Qichao's influence helped shape the book written by Phan Boi Chau. What is the book? The History of the Loss of Vietnam. It became a widely read bestseller in Vietnam and China and was even made into a play. The book focuses on two connected themes, the loss of sovereignty and the severing of ties with China. Ties that bound the elite of the two countries within a shared culture. So, the book actually is about the sorrow the people felt, the elite people felt, when the loss of sovereignty and the connection between the Vietnamese elite and the Chinese elite were broken. It is this double loss that Phan Boi Chau laments in this book, a lament that was very typical of reformers from within the traditional elite. So this elite class, they lamented this loss. Phan Boi Chau belonged to that elite class who lamented this loss. Now other nationalists, they strongly differed with Phan Boi Chau. One such nationalist was Phan Chu Trinh. I know, very funny names, very difficult to remember, but please. Phan Chu Trinh. Phan Chu Trinh was intensely hostile to Phan Boi Chau and to the monarchy actually, and opposed to the idea of resisting the French with the help of the monarchy because his desire was to establish a democratic republic. Phan Boi Chau was on the opinion that the French should be resisted with the help of the king, with the help of the royal elite. But Phan Chu Trinh, he was on the opinion that no, the royal people, the royalty The king, the monarchy should not exist. If the French leaves, this country will be a democratic country. Profoundly influenced by the democratic ideals of the West, he did not want a wholesale rejection of Western civilization. He accepted the French revolutionary ideal of liberty, but he also questioned the French for not abiding by this ideal. He demanded that the French set up legal and educational institutions and develop agriculture and industries. So he was not exactly against Western culture, he was just against French colonization, because he questioned the French government that you people have devised the idea, you people have invented the idea of liberty, equality, and fraternity that was born out of the French Revolution. So, how can you act opposing to that idea? How can you act regarding that idea as obsolete? How can you act against that idea which you yourself has created? So he also demanded the French government to set up legal and educational institutions for the Vietnamese people and to develop agriculture and industries. This is a very legitimate demand. Now, early Vietnamese people had a close relationship with Japan and China. They provided models for those looking for a change and a place to go, a refuge for those who were escaping the French police, and a location where a wide Asian network of revolutionaries could be established. So, Japan and China acted as refuge for the Vietnamese people who wanted to escape the French government's persecution. Also, they wanted to modernize themselves in the Asian way. They had to go to Japan or China. The third point why Japan and China were important to Vietnam is that a large network of Asian revolutionaries can be established by the help of these two countries. Revolutionaries were found in Japan, revolutionaries were found in China, and all these people, all these revolutionaries had one thing in common, that is driving out the Westerners, driving out the colonizers from their own countries. So, a network of revolutionaries could be established in Japan or China. In the first decade of the 20th century, a Go East movement was becoming popular. Go East movement. In 1907, some 300 Vietnamese students went to Japan to acquire modern education. For many of them, the primary motive was to drive out the French from Vietnam, overthrow the puppet emperor, and re-establish the Nguyen dynasty that had been deposed by the French. So, the Nguyen dynasty had ruled Vietnam before the French arrived. So, the French came to Vietnam, overthrew the Nguyen dynasty, and set up a puppet ruler to rule under the French government. So, these students, their main objective, their main goal was to overthrow the French, drive them out of the country, then overthrow this puppet king which the French had set up, and then bring back and re-establish the Nguyen dynasty. These nationalists looked for foreign arms and help. They appealed to the Japanese as fellow Asians. Japan had modernized itself and has resisted colonization by the West. Besides, the victory over Russia in 1907 proved its military capabilities. So, in 1907, a war took place between Japan and Russia, the small island country of Japan, and the much larger empire of Russia, in which Russia lost. So, this war actually had proved that Asian countries as small as Japan can defeat much larger European powers. So that's why Japan's respect among the Asian countries grew exponentially. So, besides, its victory over Russia in 1907 proved its military capabilities. So that is why Vietnamese revolutionaries were trying to ask for help from Japan. Vietnamese students established a branch of the Restoration Society in Tokyo, but after 1908, the Japanese Ministry of Interior clamped down on them. Many were deported and forced to seek exile in China and Thailand. So suddenly in 1908, after 1908, the Japanese government became very strict about these workings of revolutionaries and started closing down the revolutionary societies. So many revolutionaries, many student revolutionaries, they were deported from Japan and they were forced to seek shelter in China and Thailand. Now, developments in China also inspired the Vietnamese nationalists. How? In 1911, the long established monarchy in China was overthrown by a popular movement under Sun Yat sen and a republic was set up. So, for the first time, China became a republic in 1911. Inspired by these developments, Vietnamese student organizations organized the Association for Restoration of Vietnam. Now, the nature of the anti French independence movement changed. How? The objective was to bring back the Nguyen dynasty, go back to monarchy. But now, the objective was no longer to set up a monarchy but a democratic republic. However, very soon the anti-imperialist movement, anti-monarchy movement in Vietnam came under a new leadership. It got a new kind of leadership, a new leader Vietnam movement got. Who was that leader? What was that leadership? We will see in the next video. Till then, bye.